Okay. So discovering the secrets of your subconscious mind. That's the topic. And that is what I love very much. Um, I want to talk about the subconscious mind today, and I want to tell you um, about its power. Not just that, I want to share with you specific mechanism and details of the subconscious, how it affects our emotions, our behavior, the important role of our beliefs, our assumptions, our emotions, our habits, our memories, the power of visualization, and many other subtopics within this category. So let me introduce myself for those who don't know me. My name is Alireza Sharifi, and my first degree was in business management. Then I pursued my studies with an MBA in marketing. And during my MBA, I read a lot, and I was so motivated by marketing books as well as self-development books. And that was the time I became very interested in discovering more about myself and getting better. So all about motivation, how to motivate myself and so on. And that gave me the opportunity to become familiar with some areas. And then I told myself that I want to pursue my studies with psychology. I just want to enter psychology, the field of psychology. But on the other hand, I loved business. So I decided to work on a specific field in business that is called work psychology, or it is also called organizational behavior. And I did my doctorate degree. And for 4 years that I was doing the research, I focused on leadership behavior, how leaders and managers behave in different situations, how they can have more charisma, and how can they get the job done better. In terms of my experience, I have been in the food industry before, but specifically about teaching and training. I started in 2009 by teaching in INTI International University in Malaysia. That was the second or third biggest private university in Malaysia. And I learned a lot. I was also head of program for 2 years in business administration and marketing programs. And in year 2012, I officially started the field of training. So I became a certified trainer. And that was actually the stepping stone for me. After that, I became familiar with NLP, neuro-linguistic programming, and NLP coaching. And then I just entered the field and I kept going. And today, as for now, I'm a member of these 5 organizations: International Association of Counselors and Therapists, known as IACT, as a certified stress management consultant and a hypnotherapy practitioner. I'm also the trainer of American Board of NLP, American Board of Hypnotherapy, and the Timeline Therapy Association, and trainer of coaching division of American Board of NLP, and I can certify people, I can teach people coaching as well. Also, practitioner of lab profile, that is language and behavior, how to use language to change minds and predict the future behavior. What I do here basically includes 2 major areas. One is mindset and emotional mastery. I help people change their mindsets, control their mindsets in order to master their emotions. And I also teach soft skills such as leadership, communication skills, time management, and so on. All right, this is my first book. I published it in Amazon, Leadership in Dynamic Organizations. This is the result of my 4 years of research in university, and I just put it in one book. So it means a lot to me. And also I contributed to this book, Canadian Success, that was published and launched in October last year. And this was the last book chapter I contributed to. I wrote a chapter here called From Mindset to Emotional Mastery, specifically speaking, whatever I do. And I will tell you what I wrote on that chapter in this book. These are probably some other things about me. I just want you to have a look at it. You may have an idea. I love traveling. I love teaching and training. I love books very much. We had an initiative with a group of colleagues. I see Solma's also on this call. So it was a great experience. I love reading all the time, I would say. I love making money. I think everybody loves that. And also, I love to enjoy my moments and live my life at any point of time, and at the same time to have a look at the future to make my future nows better. And also, I kind of like working, but I don't know if I'm a workaholic or not, but I I I think we have to enjoy life. That's the most important thing. So however we do, we have to do something or whatever that we have passion for. All right, so that's about me. And hopefully we have enough time so that you talk about yourself, and I want to get to know you better as well. So the objectives of this seminar are as follows. First of all, I want to talk about the subconscious mind and its success mechanism. I want to tell you specifically what the subconscious mind is and how it works to help us be successful. And I want to tell you and share with you how it affects our emotions. And for 1 hour today, I will be talking about the power of visualization and goal setting. There are lots of things that you've heard before, but I think it would be very beneficial if we put everything together so that we have a better and clearer idea about this concept. I will also talk about perception and behavior and something known as the NLP communication model that to me is probably the most important slide in the world. Maybe I'm exaggerating, but that's how I feel about it. And next one is success principles. I will share with you the 5 success principles that I use. It is used also in NLP and other practices. And also, I will be talking about hypnosis and meditation, or hypnotherapy and meditation. These are also a group of topics that are very, very useful. All right, so let's get started. I have a couple of pictures. I usually share these with attendees, with participants, with students. I just want you to have a look at these pictures. There's a bird building a beautiful nest. And this is not something that this bird is being taught directly. Or right here, you can see a group of honeybees that are working together. And you know how beautiful and sophisticated these insects are. They know how to work together. They know how to work with the queen. And without being taught, they know how to go and find the right flower, how to find directions, how to build something as beautiful as this that you can see here, or this beautiful massive hive that you can see. When you look at different animals, we find out that they have some specific behaviors that are so sophisticated and so good that make them really great creatures. And not just that, these beautiful behaviors, or what we call instinct, basically, or pre-learnings, are very essential to their survival. If they can't learn this, if they don't know these, they will die. They will not be able to survive for a long time. And you can also have a look at squirrels, how in spring they get started. They are so motivated to find food, they store, and when it comes to winter, then they know how to survive and how to go to the next year. So these instincts are very, very important for them. And you can find instincts in every single animal. It's like it's like they have a computer, and it's already pre-programmed for them. So be it eagles, tigers, penguins, owls, or any other insect or animal, even ants. So this is so beautiful. Animals are so good. But how about us as human beings? We also have instincts for sure. But to me, if we compare our instincts with those of all other animals, well, they are much better. They are much more sophisticated than we are. But we have something different. We have something that we call our minds. And basically, our minds are much, much better than any other animal, those of any other animal or creature that we know in the world. Yes, it is true. In terms of having instincts, we are not that sophisticated or that good, but we have more power than anyone can imagine, or any other creature could imagine. They may not be able even to imagine, and that's one of our other powers. All right. So when we talk about the mind, we can talk about two things. Well, in one way, we can classify the mind into and group them into two categories. One is the conscious mind, and the other one is subconscious or unconscious mind. All right. So on the one hand, we have the conscious mind or consciousness, and on the other hand, we have the subconscious mind and unconscious mind or unconsciousness. It is said that close to 12% of what we do at any point of time is managed by our conscious mind. So we have a superpower called consciousness, and that gives us so much power to think, so much power to perceive different things in our environment and use five senses to explore and experience the world much better than probably any other animal. And that is good. That is so good. But we have to remember that what we think is our superpower, that is the conscious mind, is only 12%. In other words, it's just the tip of the iceberg. And what happens is basically at the bottom, if you see this iceberg moves, it is not because the conscious is moving. It is because the unconscious is moving and the conscious goes with it. Well, I will explain this concept in much more detail, and by the end of today's session, you will have definitely a clearer idea, much clearer idea about this. So as for now, I want to tell you that about 88% of what we do is being controlled and managed by the subconscious and unconscious mind. And your conscious mind can control close to 12% of whatever is happening at any point of time. I will elaborate on this. So the unconscious mind, that's what I love the most, and that's what I want to tell you a lot more about. So we just want to dig into this concept, and we want to explore and understand what happens here. Because once you understand, you will understand what happens to you, why your mood changes, why your beliefs change. Why is it that some people can get good results effortlessly and some other people do their best, they all have good intentions, but they can't get as much as they think they deserve. And that is very, very important. And I guarantee you, if you're here until 5:30 or 6 o'clock today, you will get all this concept very clear, crystal clear to you. So what is the unconscious mind? So in order to understand, let me tell you a little bit about the consciousness, and then we'll talk about the other one. So we have five senses. We can see, we can hear, we can touch, we can smell, and we can taste. So these five senses are very, very important. So at any point of time, your brain receives information from the environment through one of these, at least one of these five channels, or all of them, right? So that's consciousness. At the same time, sometimes you think and you analyze you ponder. And during this time, you are using your consciousness. Why we call it consciousness? Because you are aware of something that is happening. You're aware of a smell. You're aware of a light. You're aware of a sound. So we can say that you are conscious, and that is the conscious part of your brain or your mind that is working for you. Okay, you're listening to me and looking at this slide, so at least two senses are active. If at the same time you are drinking coffee or tea and you pay attention to the taste, definitely the other sense is also activated here. So that's the consciousness, that's your thinking, that's your analysis, and that is the five senses that you're aware of at any second, any point of time, right? What about the unconscious mind or subconscious mind? Well, the subconscious or unconscious, let me tell you this. I'm going to use these two terminologies interchangeably. It doesn't mean that they are exactly the same thing. They are not, but they are more or less the same, and their mechanism is very, very, very much the same. It's those mechanisms are different from those of the conscious mind. So for that reason, sometimes I use this concept of subconscious and unconscious interchangeably, but for now, treat them as equal as one thing. Right, okay, so something is in the level of conscious, you understand, you notice. When you notice something, your conscious mind is basically working for you. But there are certain things that are happening, but the conscious mind cannot pick up, all right? And that is something that is beneath the surface, right? At the bottom, in the sea, within this area, okay? And if I tell you and if I show you what is happening at this subconscious level, I can show you here. And this is one big thing. All our attitudes about something, all our assumptions about ourselves, about our job, about relationship, about future, about other people, about colleagues, doesn't matter, about the country or whatever, or about life, basically, all are stored in the subconscious mind. All our habits, the things that we do, we constantly do, are right here at the bottom. All emotions that we experience, positive or negative, if you're happy, if you're sad, if you're excited, if you're desperate, whatever you feel or however you feel, it comes from the subconscious or unconscious mind. Besides these, your memories are stored in the unconscious level, all right? At some point, you may retrieve some information and you become conscious of what happened before. But once you forget about that, you focus on something else, your memory is just there, is at the unconscious level. So it will always be stored at the unconscious level. We also have values, the things that are important in our lives, as well as beliefs, the things that we think are important, and they become our rules of life, not necessarily true rules, but basically that's what they are. And I tell you, don't worry if it seems to be massive. And the good news is, I think for today's session, I'm going to cover every single topic that you see here in yellow in detail. So we will spend good time on attitude, on assumptions, habits, emotions, memories, and imaginations even, values, beliefs, core values and core beliefs, and so on and so forth. So we will spend enough time to understand this concept, because once you understand, you will definitely have a different perception of yourself and your ability to be able to do something better in your life and to improve your life. So one interesting point is here, and this is what you see right here, the number. It is said that for an average person, our conscious mind can process information at the speed of 134 bits per second. 134 bits per second. And that's your computer's power, your consciousness, right? So if you see things and if you hear things, if you smell things, and if you think about something, well, these are basically the things that your consciousness does. But you can't do all of them at the same time. If you're tasting a food and you're listening to someone, you may not be able to smell something different and pay attention to another voice because your consciousness cannot process that much of information, right? So we have to focus on certain things, and that is our ability, and that's the capacity of the conscious mind. That is good. 134 is not a high number, but still is a good thing that we can. So you can use your 5 senses at this speed, all right, on average at this speed. And also you can think at this speed. If you're concentrating on solving a problem, you may not be able to listen to any other sounds, all right, because you have to concentrate. Have you seen many fathers drive, and when they drive, they turn down the volume of the radio because they can't do the 2 things at the same time, and they're using maximum capacity of their concentration and consciousness in order to find the way, so they forget about the other things. They have to cancel other things out so that they can focus. Now, how about the unconscious mind? What is this power? What is its capacity or its speed? The answer is 90 billion bits per second. And this is crazy. Absolutely, this is crazy. You can't even compare 134 with 90 billion. 90 billion bits of information per second is being evaluated and analyzed every single second. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Even when you're asleep. When we see something, when you're exposed to some event, whatever it is, minor, major, whatever, very quickly, your subconscious mind gives you the attitude. It's either positive or negative. You will either like it or you don't, okay? You might be positive about something or negative. Someone approaches you and says, "Hi, how are you?" The moment you look at this person, for some reasons that I will explain to you why, you will have either positive or negative attitude very quickly. Okay, if someone talks about sports, if someone talks about politics, if someone talks about health, if someone talks about beauty or whatever topic, you will have either positive or negative attitude. That's number one. Very quickly, your subconscious mind forms assumptions for you in order to help you solve your problem, right? Besides that, your subconscious mind is also a place where all your habits are generated and kept. So you drive for the first time, it's very difficult, very time consuming, very energy taking. The second time gets probably easier. After 10th time, it's easier. After 100th time, you don't even think about it anymore. Why? Because that's the subconscious mind. There are lots of things that you used to think about and focus on, but you don't have to anymore because your subconscious mind can process information quickly. And when it becomes habit, it goes from that 134 bits per second to the 90 billion bits per second capacity. So your subconscious mind can do it for you and you don't have to think about it. Practice makes perfect. So that's how people become perfect at doing anything. So all emotions are also there. Your memories are there. And this is very interesting. The moment you come across something or you're exposed to something new, your subconscious mind can go to your memories and fetch all the important or retrieve all the important information or memories of the past with regards to the issue at hand. The moment you're exposed to something. So how much memory do you have? Well, it's countless. From the time you're born until now, and even more than that, we have also some information in the genes that the subconscious mind has access to it. So, but as we talk about memories, the moment you come across a specific topic, let's say topic A, whatever memory you have had before or so far until now are accessible with regard to that specific situation A. And without you even noticing, your subconscious mind reviews everything and reacts, gives you specific emotions or gives you specific attitude or assumptions. And that is powerful. Not just that, in many decisions, we think of what is important to us and what is not important to us. We may not even think of our values consciously, but that is one of the things that your subconscious mind does. Your subconscious mind gives you some intuitive feedback, or gives you some feelings. And where does that come from? From whatever you see beneath the surface, specifically here based on your values and beliefs. I will spend some good time on beliefs because they are very, very important. And I will share with you also what they are. All right. There are some questions that a few people asked. I will definitely answer your questions as I go a little bit further. I will pause and I will come back and I will tell you also about your questions. I will address your questions for sure. All right. So now we have some better idea about the unconscious mind. I want to tell you about its mechanism and how it works. Because when we understand how the unconscious mind works, then it becomes much better because we can take control of something there. All right. I'm not saying that you can control 100% of the unconscious mind.
A small coffee, 2 mil.
Oh, I think someone is ordering coffee here. Can you, let me see if I can find this person. One of you is, okay, I think now you're muted. Okay, thank you. All right, so if you remember, at the beginning, I just talked about animals, and I said animals have instincts, and those instincts are the programs that are actually given to them when they were born, and those programs are basically very helpful in helping them get better, become more successful. And to them, success means survival. So success means having baby animals, right? So that their generation just keeps going. How about for human beings? Well, probably before, for human beings, it was the same thing. It was survival. But these days, it's not just about being alive. Probably it is about living a life, okay? Or enjoying the life, or whatever else. If you ask 100 people what success is, there are 100 different answers probably. Someone says it's about having a good relationship. Someone says good marriage and good family. Someone says peace of mind. Someone says happiness. Someone says lots of properties and money, and so on and so forth. But basically, whatever your definition of success is fine and is right, is okay for you. But I want to tell you this, your unconscious mind and our unconscious minds are created and designed in order to help us become more successful. And that's very simple, become more successful. It is said that our conscious mind is the goal setter and the unconscious mind is the goal getter. And what that means is the conscious mind tells the unconscious what to do, what the goal is, and the unconscious mind goes to find it. But you may ask lots of questions from yourself. If that is true, why am I not getting what I deserve, what I truly want? Well, you will find your answer for sure in detail here. So these mechanisms of the subconscious mind are very, very important in order for us to be successful, right? The success mechanism of the subconscious mind is in a way that it is serving. So what that means is the subconscious mind keeps serving you all the time. As I said, 24/7, all the time. So it's just waiting for you to say something so that it goes and finds it for you. Okay, it wants to help, it wants to contribute. At the same time, there is also goal striving mechanism. And what that means is your subconscious mind wants to help you, and whatever you mention, whatever you say becomes a goal, all right, or a target. And your subconscious mind says, yes, I'm going to do it for you. So the conscious mind is the goal setter, and the unconscious mind is the goal getter. And that's exactly what this is, goal striving mechanism. Next, the third one is autocorrection. And this specific point means your subconscious mind corrects actions all the time, or makes conclusions to make everything simple next time. All right? It's like you do something and your subconscious mind is saving the information, and then next time as you want to do it, it gets better. Why? Because there is auto-correction mechanism in the unconscious mind. Even when you are not working, the unconscious mind keeps correcting and correcting and correcting. I'll give you an example to make it more specific and probably clearer to everybody. Many of you are able to ride a bicycle, right? And if you remember, at some point in time in the past, you had no idea how to do it, okay? And you needed help. So someone, probably a parent or a friend or a teacher or a coach, started helping you, or a neighbor started helping you to do it. And it was very difficult at the beginning or initial stages to keep this balance and keep moving forward. You didn't know how to balance your body in a way that you are balanced as you are riding this bicycle. But gradually, you keep learning and learning and learning and learning. And the good point about the unconscious mind is when it learns, it is there for a long, long time. It teaches your muscles, all right? And it informs your muscles, orders your muscles to balance yourself. And next time, when you ride a bicycle, you don't have to think of principles of keeping balance in bicycle because it's just there. You just know it, all right? And this is what the unconscious mind does. It autocorrects, and every time you fell down, every time you lost your balance, the unconscious mind was trying to make a correction there, to make a correction there, to make a correction there, until you become so perfect in doing whatever you're doing, such as that example, right? Okay, so I want to share with you 10 key rules or key secrets of the subconscious mind, 10 of them. The first one, as I told you, is memory storage. So your subconscious mind stores all your memories, and whatever happens to you is being kept and being recorded at the subconscious level. And that is very good because sometime in the future, you may need them. When you experience something, your unconscious mind records it and even sometimes makes some conclusions in order to help you in near future. If you notice, next to this word in point number one, stores memories, I wrote mental pictures. And by mental picture, what I mean is your unconscious mind not only stores memories, but also stores your mental pictures. For example, if just for right now, you close your eyes and think of something that has never happened in the past, all right, for your future, and you imagine yourself in a specific future doing a specific group of tasks, and then you open your eyes, that piece of picture or information goes to exactly the same area in your mind in the storage of memories section, and it will be stored right there. So your mental pictures and your memories are totally identical to your subconscious mind. Your unconscious mind cannot understand the difference between your mental pictures and your memories. All right, that's number one. I think someone is unmuted again. If you can mute yourself, it will be great. Okay, I found them. All right, so that's number one. So your subconscious mind stores memories and stores mental pictures. And the interesting and funny thing is, Your subconscious mind does not differentiate what is reality and what is imagination. Both of them are the same, and the subconscious mind will treat them as equal and reacts to them as reality. So what you imagine is reality to your body. Why to your body? Because of number two. Because your unconscious mind is the one that runs the body. You can consciously make some movements. If I tell you, can you blink 3 times in a row? And you say, yeah, of course, if I want to. 1, 2, 3. You blink 3 times. Easy, right? But you blink all the time. How do you know that you have to blink? How many times a day do you think of blinking? Well, I don't think we think about them, right? So what happens is the unconscious mind knows when to do it for you in order for you to be comfortable. And you know blinking is good because it keeps this moisture and it protects the eyes, and there are other reasons that you know. So you can extend this example to many other things. If someone is, let's say, scared, okay, scared of public speaking, and you ask them to give a 10-minute presentation, of course they will feel scared. They will be anxious before that, and they may forget things. And when they stand in front of others and they start presenting, there are lots of changes in their body. Their skin color is changed, okay? The eye movements are different. Maybe they will be shivering. Maybe they're sweating a lot. And there are other things, even in their voice. It is clear if someone even hears their voices, they will definitely know that this person is not confident at this point or is not comfortable, all right? How do we know? Because the body is basically being run by the unconscious mind. And remember that the unconscious mind is the domain of the emotions. So all our emotions, positive or negative, are being stored, being kept, and even being controlled by the unconscious mind. And that's the point, all right? So that's number 3. Your unconscious mind is the domain of the emotions, and all the emotions are stored right there. Number 4 and number 5 are my most favorite topics here. I love them the most, and I think if you're going to take just one piece out of whatever I share with you all day today for 9 hours, 8 or 9 hours today, is number 4. And that is this: your unconscious mind cannot process negativity. Your unconscious mind cannot understand what is positive and what is negative. It just gets the information, receives the information, and acts on it. If you tell your unconscious mind, I don't like a blue horse, your unconscious mind will go to retrieve pictures of a blue horse for you. If it's not in the memory, it's going to imagine it for you, all right? And it's going to look for the blue horse as you are awake and you are moving around. If you tell yourself, I hate red cars, you go to the street, you will definitely find a lot of red cars that you probably couldn't see before. And I am sure it has happened to you. If you think of these kind of things, specific, like you can practice this. It's very easy. You tell yourself, I don't like red cars. I hate red cars. I don't want to think of red cars. And even right now, as I said that, the picture of a red car or a group of red cars come to your mind. Maybe you own one, I don't know. But definitely you will get that picture. All right, there is a classical example of that says, don't think of a pink elephant. And everybody does. You cannot not think about something. So this is important. And I want you to remember that your unconscious mind does not understand positivity or negativity, does not process and cannot process negativity. And I'll give you another example. Someone says, you know what? My problem is I get angry very fast, all right? And this is one of the things that I don't like about myself. Being angry is not good, is not helpful, because very quickly, I lose my temper and I get raged at some point even. And that is not what I want. And sometimes I ask them this question, okay, so how do you want to feel instead? And they say, I just don't want to be angry. And I said, yes, I understand that. I understand what you don't want. Now tell me what you want. And then they say, well, I just want some moments so that I'm not so sensitive to react like that, or to get so frustrated or angry or raged to react in an immature way. And I say, yes, I understand again, but tell me, how would you like to react or feel instead? You see, the point is, for people who are so much into anger, for instance, they keep saying to themselves that I don't want to be angry. I don't want to be angry. I hate anger. Anger is bad. This person is angry. That person is angry. I don't want myself to be angry. And the only thing that is being repeated is the word anger and angry, or anything synonym to these words. So what do you expect? The unconscious mind cannot understand if you like it or you don't like it, because you're mentioning it. It becomes an order. It becomes a command. So if I just go back to this slide to share with you right here, it's goal striving. I just told you that your conscious mind is the goal setter. You set the goal and you tell your subconscious mind that this is what I want. And your unconscious mind is the goal getter, goal striving and serving mechanism. And that's how it works. Now, the problem is, in most of the time, we keep saying that repeating or saying the things that we don't want, the things that are negative, the things that we hate the most. But the problem is, the moment you set your mind or your unconscious mind to go and find it for you, to fetch it for you. I always give this example of having a dog, right? Those people who have pets, specifically dogs, and if you have a let's say tennis ball, and you show that to your dog, and you just throw it and say fetch, your dog is going to go and fetch it for you. If you say don't fetch, your dog is going to bring it for you, because what you show to your dog is the tennis ball. Now, our dog probably is the subconscious mind or the unconscious mind. And our conversations are like the tennis ball. We keep repeating the things that we want, or sometimes we don't want. If we keep saying the things that we don't want, the unconscious mind thinks that this is the goal, and it goes to retrieve it for us. As simple as that. It seems to be simple, but I can tell you, if people understand this, 50% of their problems disappear. And this is so significant. If you have a piece of paper and if you have notes, I want you to jot down, write it down, even though it is obvious to you. I want you to write it, to over and over and overemphasize on this factor. I can't overemphasize on this factor because this is so obvious and so important. A person is not healthy, all right? And you tell them, what would you like in your life? How would you want to be in your life? He said, I just don't want to be sick anymore. It's exactly the same thing. You're inviting sickness to your life if you're saying so. If people say, oh, I don't want to fight with you. Well, if you don't want to fight, you're going to fight, because the word fight is going to be creating pictures again and retrieving memories for you. And definitely your mood will be changed and you will be thinking about fight again. All right? It's exactly the same thing. So if I tell you, for example, as an example, someone comes and says, you know what? I am not happy with my relationship.
Could I please intervene? I have a very small doubt.
Okay, tell me.
If allowed.
Yeah, sure. Tell me, please.
Yeah. But my doubt is, what you're trying to say is that the unconscious mind doesn't understand the language of subconscious mind. Whatever it thinks, whatever it shows, It just does it, irrespective of what it is, what the subconscious mind wants actually.
The subconscious mind does not understand if you want or you don't want. The moment you mention an object or an adjective, it is the target already. Okay? It doesn't understand if
Okay.
you say I want or I don't want, I love or I hate. It's the same thing, exactly the same thing. Because basically the unconscious mind mechanism is to protect you, to protect your body. And when you say, I hate jealousy, your subconscious mind wants to protect you and goes and looks for jealousy in order to show you that, hey, this is jealousy, be careful. And in other words, you're generating this feeling of jealousy all the time for yourself, or you motivate other people to be more jealous of you because you said you hate jealousy and you don't like jealous people. You get that? So that's the concept. Yes. So it does not understand the words, some structure, like sentence structures that we use, that we say we want or we don't want, because it cannot process negativity. It just takes everything objectively and reacts upon them. Did I answer?
Understood. Thank you.
Okay, you're welcome. Okay, so that is number 4. And number 5 is also very, very close to what I mentioned in number 4. And that is, it takes everything personally. So if you talk about other people being angry, it is like you activate anger in yourself, in your system. Well, consciously, you know that you are not talking about yourself, you're talking about other people. But when you keep saying that, you are giving commands and orders to your subconscious mind to activate what is called anger for you. And for sure, you will get more of it, because the domain of emotions is where? Is the unconscious mind. So the unconscious mind generates it for you, because your unconscious mind cannot understand logic. It's just there to protect you. And by nature, it doesn't understand what you say, but it is structured, it is programmed, it is prepared, it is created and designed for you to help you. But you have to understand, we have to understand the mechanism so that we know how to communicate with it. We know how to give commands and orders. And that is basically what we see in number 5, that it takes everything personally. So if you talk about other people, it takes it personally about you. All right. And therefore you can I want you to understand this. There are 5 more rules. And after that, I'm going to pause for some time and answer some questions, and then we'll get back to the rest of the slides. Number 6 is your unconscious mind is symbolic. And by symbolic, it means it gives you symbols, it shows you symbols, and it may not tell you specifically and exactly what the concern is, but it shows you kind of symbols and signals, indirect signals. One example of that is when you sleep and you dream, okay? I'm not saying 100% of dreams are the concerns of the subconscious mind, but there are lots of theories that say that majority of what we see as dreams at night as we are asleep basically are the things that the subconscious mind is trying to deal with, to resolve for us, to help us solve the problems. For those people who do meditation, sometimes during your meditation, you might be able to see some stories, some specific scenarios that you've never thought about. But these basically are the things that your subconscious mind wants you to see, because it wants to tell you something. Well, and I can tell you what that is, because you have to befriend your unconscious mind, understand and communicate with your inner self so that you can interpret this information better. I think it was last Saturday, we had a hypnosis, free 3-hour hypnosis, self-hypnosis or meditation session. And many of you who are on this call remember that I asked you to receive a free gift and let your unconscious mind give you something. Many of you receive something. That is what I mean by number 6. It is symbolic. And definitely when we understand that, we we can ponder about them. We can think, we can just explore a little bit more to understand our inner self better. Number 7, basically, as I said, the domain of emotions, this is also related. Your energy comes from the unconscious mind or subconscious mind. If you are full of energy, or if you lack energy, basically it is because of the subconscious mind. And when you are able to communicate differently to your unconscious mind, your energy level changes. The moment you change something at the unconscious level, you can change your energy. And this is why you see some people who are motivated all the time, who are positive all the time, every day at workplace, every time they are smiling, every time they can jump up and down. They are full of motivation. Motivation doesn't come by logic. Well, a part of it is what the conscious mind does, but I can tell you, and I want to tell you, that you have to be able to do something to the unconscious mind in order to change your energy level. And you can. And in order to prove it, it's very easy. If someone is like kind of tired in the evening and a friend calls this person and shares with him a good piece of information, something super exciting, well, this person can have energy for hours to run around, to drive, and to do something, right? How does this energy come from? And where does it come from? Well, it comes from the unconscious mind. So the unconscious mind is able to generate energy and distribute energy, okay? And remember that energy and emotions are contagious. So if you have high level of energy, you can give other people good energy, and the energy comes back to you, right? It's not going to be wasted. So if you think you have so much of energy and you spend it on others and it's gone, it's not going to be gone. You can actually get back your energy even more than whatever you had before. So by now, you know, number 8, your unconscious mind is able to maintain instincts for you all the time without you even thinking about them, and habits as well. The good thing is, if you generate good habits, if you build good habits, your unconscious mind is going to keep it for you. But if it's negative, then your unconscious mind will keep that as well. Now, the challenge is when we have negative habits and we want to change those negative habits. We have to talk to the unconscious mind with its language. I will talk about it for sure later today. Number 9, it controls our perceptions. I have one whole slide, beautiful concept, and I will share with you. And number 10 is it represses the unresolved emotions. The point is this: being happy is good. Being sad at some point is good. If there is something that is not good for us, then we might feel sad, and that is a normal feeling. But the problem is sometimes we feel sad, and our unconscious mind cannot resolve it. In these cases, the unconscious mind represses the negative emotion so that you don't talk about that topic. Okay, someone who breaks up very badly and is with broken heart doesn't want to fall in love anymore, doesn't want to talk about love, doesn't want to talk about other boys, doesn't want to talk about being intimate, doesn't want to talk about relationship, marriage, and so on. Why? Because it is too painful for the unconscious mind to talk about it. In other words, the unconscious mind wants to repress everything so that you don't talk about this topic. All right. So I just wanted to share with you these 10 key points. I want to answer a few questions, and after that, I will continue with the rest of the slides. So I'm going to stop sharing for now, and then we will go back to it. So one of these questions that one of our friends asked is, the unconscious mind and subconscious mind, are they the same? Well, they are not the same. Functionally, they are the same. Okay, we have We have someone unmuted. Let me see. Okay, no, it's okay. The unconscious mind and subconscious mind are not identical, are not exactly the same. Basically, unconscious, if you look at the word unconscious means you are not conscious of it at all right? You have no idea what is happening. It is so deep that you don't even think about it. That's unconscious. Subconscious is a part of that mechanism, or the mind, that we are kind of aware of, but we are not fully aware of, basically, right? The way that our mind controls the body is basically more or less related to the unconscious mind. However, if you think of something, all right, for some time, if you keep thinking about some topic for a couple of days, it is somewhere in your background, and you think about it, you think about it, you think about it, and you still have it, all right? And that's the subconscious mind, basically. Sapita had a question. Would you want to unmute yourself and ask your question? Sapita, are you there? Oh, she raised question. Okay, she raised her hand, and I can see the question here. You said, can I ask you, how can a person be positive and someone negative? You always mention in one of the options, I guess it was number 7 and 8. There are lots of things, and I think I will be able to answer your question thoroughly throughout the session, because as I talk about attitudes, as I talk about assumptions, as I talk about emotions, the importance of emotions and how it influences everything in the unconscious level, I think I will be able to answer your question by then, because there is no like simple answer. I will tell you in more detail about that. Okay, Sam asked this question about the 88% and 12% rule. There are a couple of books that talk about it. Works of Joseph Murphy, he talks about it in majority of books about NLP. There are references that talk about that 88% versus 12%. You can find it. That's also important. Nitin had a question as well. How do routines and rituals influence activities that need conscious mind? And how do routines and rituals affect the subconscious mind? I will talk about it. If you please remember this question and ask me after lunch, because I'm going to talk about assumptions and attitudes, and then it will be a good time that you ask that question. Please do remember that and raise that question once again. I will answer by then so that we have a better information about it. And there was another question by Nitin that asked, is deja vu something that falls under symbolic rule? No, deja vu is not like that. There's a theory about deja vu. I don't know how true it is, but there were studies where they said that people, the point is this: as you perceive things, as you see and hear, whatever you see and hear gets to your conscious, and then it goes to the unconscious mind, to the memory. Okay, let's say there is a section for memory, there is an inventory for memory, and the memory is being stored there. All right, so later in future, when we see something, we say, oh, I think I've seen this before, or I've heard this before, or I've been to this situation. Why? Because your mind is retrieving some information and memory out of the unconscious mind. Now, the point is, what happens in some deja vu situations is this: you are exposed to something for the first time, okay? But for a fraction of a second, there is a pause, and what you see right there goes to the memories, okay? And moments later, second later, your mind is retrieving information out of the memory, and you think you have seen this before. So it's not necessarily that you've seen this before, because if there is a little pause in the mind, it will happen, because what you receive in real time goes to the memory, and moments later you retrieve it and you say, oh, I've been here before. That's one explanation. I don't know how true this can be, but this is the most common explanation that people have about the subconscious and this phenomenon. There is another question: how about the thoughts which are happening in the mind? Is it originating from the conscious or subconscious? Beautiful question, Aruna, beautiful question. Allow me to answer that in the evening, because I have one slide about that topic. So I will definitely have this question answered for you. Sherry also asked this question, why someone's energy level is so low, and how can we fix it? Well, throughout this session, also today, I will give you tips about that. The energy level, if energy level is low, it is because what I showed you in that slide, below the surface level, there is something wrong there. There are negative emotions, there are limiting beliefs that lead to disappointment, there are conflicting values that make people super tired, there might be a wrong attitude that drain our energy, because if you don't have passion for something, definitely you're not going to feel full of energy. So it's all about like definitions at the subconscious level, and how the unconscious actually interprets everything. But definitely you will get your answer also in the evening session. There is one more question that Soroush wanted to ask. Soroush, do you want to unmute yourself and ask your question, or you want to type it? You can ask.
Hi.
Hi.
Okay, so you talked about subconscious mind and its relation to language. It somehow distorts the language and creates symbols. Does it create symbols to talk back to conscious mind, or
does it what?
Does it create the symbols to talk back to the conscious mind? Is it why it's creating the symbols?
No. Someone also, Atifa also asked about rule number 6 is symbolic. So I'm going to tell you, and I'm going to share with everybody here. This symbolic point is that if there are concerns at the unconscious level, your unconscious mind is going to give you emotions, positive or negative, or shows you symbols. All right. Sometimes the symbol is you keep imagining something, or the idea comes to your mind. You keep imagining something that is like a story. At some points, probably majority of you have dreams, okay? If you look at your dreams, you may find some patterns, all right? And those patterns are explaining to you, are telling you that there is something at the unconscious mind and at the unconscious level that you have to deal with. Let me give you a specific example. One example, I think this explains many things for you. I remember, okay, one of the dreams that I have, I don't call it nightmare, but basically it's a dream, is this. I always see myself, or a majority of times, I see myself going back to my first degree as I was in university. And the story is, I have 2 exams tomorrow and the day after. One is mathematics exam, and the other one is religious studies or something like that I have no idea after a long time, after being far from all these concepts. And I am in those situations. Or law, there is another one that is law subject. So I keep seeing myself in university, and I tell myself always in dream that, oh my God, what I'm going to do? Tomorrow I have exam, I have no idea. And if I can't finish this in this final semester, they're not going to give me my bachelor's degree. So for that reason, my MBA and my doctorate degree are going to be like null and void. So what should I do? And that is something that I keep seeing a lot. And basically, I can tell you, I was thinking about this and I say, why should I see the things that are just like that? And I remember, and I figured out, every time that I have a project or something that I have to do open for some time that I haven't dealt with and I haven't closed, and it's kind of late, I have that kind of dream. And I tell you, if there is something important that I have to do, and if I keep postponing for some time, I will dream. And whenever I have that dream and I wake up, I look back and I notice that there is something. The moment I deal with it, I finish it, I get it done, it's over. That is one example of being symbolic. Look at the patterns of dreams that you have. Those are symbols that your unconscious mind wants to
But
tell
that's not
you.
my question.
It wasn't?
No.
Oh, okay.
Sorry,
Tell me your question.
I
I thought, okay. Okay, at least I answered Atif's question, so I can answer your question now. Yeah, sure.
I actually thought I'm on mute, so that's why I was so loud. Sorry. So
No problem.
so the symbolic function of
Mhm.
subconscious mind is trying to tell the conscious mind something.
Mm-hmm.
So that was my question. So it's basically trying to somehow talk back to conscious mind.
Exactly.
And say something. Yeah. Okay. That was my question.
Okay, I'm happy that it's understood and it's answered.
Thank you.
Awesome. You're welcome. You're welcome. Awesome. Sherry, you will get your answers for sure. Don't worry. You will definitely get your answers also today. Awesome. So let's go back to the slides. I want to share you something more. And someone asked, who was it? Someone asked, Savarish asked me to explain this rule number 9. There is one specific slide for that about perceptions. I will explain it there when I talk about the communication model. And it will come soon. I will explain it to you there. So I want you to have a look at this picture, all right? I want to tell you something. We individuals have two worlds. Every single one of us on this call, in this webinar, has two worlds. One is the outer world. The outer world are all the phenomena that are happening around us. It's all the circumstances, all the signals, all the pictures, all the videos, all the sounds, all the smells, and all the messages, letters, social media, whatever is outside your body is your outer world, all right? And well, basically, there are lots of people whom you're interacting with at workplace, at home, at your neighborhood, in society, in the city, and so on and so forth. So basically, these are the outer world. But we have another world that is definitely much more important than the outer world, and that is the inner world. The inner world includes all your thoughts and all your emotions and your reactions. Your thoughts, your emotions, and your reactions to those circumstances, to those external cues, to those signals, to those outer worlds. And I can tell you this specifically. Your outer world is not the important one. The important one for you is the inner world, because your inner world is how you feel about the outer world. Many people think, oh, if you know what, if I have millions of dollars and I have a $30 million house, then I'm going to be happy forever and I can live happily ever after. Well, I can tell you there is guarantee that that $30 million house is not going to guarantee your happiness and your peace of mind. I can guarantee that. And it's very obvious for many reasons. The inner world is more important than the outer world because your thoughts and your emotions and your reactions are your reality, not the things that are happening on the outside. Well, I'm not saying it's not happening out the outside. It is happening and they are happening, but how you look at them, how you think about them, how you interpret them, and how you feel about them is more important than what is happening on the outside. You can see a villager without any property with just a basket of fruit and some eggs and some bread, and this person can be super happy, can have best family ever, and he or she can think that they are at the top of the world, they have everything and they are super good, they have peace of mind. And you can also find someone who is in the corporate world, has a good managerial, high rank position with good salary, good benefits, good social status, but on the inside, he is ruined. On the inside, he is messed up. And on the inside, he is angry, he is frustrated. So the inner world is the most important thing. I am not saying for us to quit and go to another area and then just live a life and be happy. No, whatever you do is fine. Wherever you are is fine. We have to change the inner world first. That is important. That is very important. Life is neither sweet nor bitter. It is us. It is us that we interpret. It is the way we interpret. We see, we perceive, and we interpret. That gives us different types of feeling. And this is what I wanted to share with you about our worlds. And that is the introduction to rule number 9, the perception. And I want to show you what I told you about perception right here. This is one of my favorite slides. I love it very much. This is you. This is me. This is anybody, a human being. We are exposed to an environment, in other words, our outer world, and let's call it events, all right? Because events happen. It can be you talking to someone. It can be us seeing a snake or a dangerous animal, or we just watch a movie, sad, happy, funny, action, whatever. We have 5 senses. We see, we hear, we smell, we taste, and so on, and we touch. So we get information. Our mind gets information from the outside environment, from the outer world. It is said that we are exposed to, on average, close to 2 million bits of information per second. 2 million bits of information are around us. You may ask yourself, oh, 2 million? 2 million is too much, it's impossible. No, it's not impossible. Look around you. How many objects do you see? How many different shapes and sizes do you see? I think someone is on mute again. Please mute yourself. Okay, I think they're, yes, thank you. So 2 million bits, that's not a joke, it's too much. All right, there are different shapes, there are different items, there are different sizes, there are different brightness level, different color, different texture. That's what you see, right? There are things that are static, there are things that are moving. If you have a library around you, if you, yeah, like the level of the light, the things that are on the wall, on the ceilings, out of the window. So there are lots of things. When you pay attention to the things around you, you will find that you're exposed to lots and lots and lots of things. And not just that, how about what you hear? Oh, a lot of sounds. You listen to me in wherever you are now, you can hear other sounds. The sounds of pen and paper, flipping, the sound of someone else in that room or someone outside that room, or construction on the outside, cars moving, the sound of the wind, the sound of your movement, the sound of the chair as you're like laying back and everything. You can also think of emotions, different types of sensations and feelings. at this point. So there are lots of information that you and your mind can absorb, you and your mind can attract and can receive. And the point is, the challenge for us is that the conscious mind is not that good, or it is actually very good, but it doesn't have the capacity to process 2 million bits of information per second. So what it does instead is just process it at this speed, 134 on average. Compare this 134 to 2 million bits of information. Well, which one is bigger? Of course, whatever is in the environment. So what happens to the rest? The rest are being deleted. And that's one of the wrong, well, not wrong, but one of the mistakes, or probably I would say one of the weaknesses that we have, that we cannot process everything that we are exposed to. We cannot. We delete certain things. But I want you to remember at this very moment, I told you about being positive and negative, and I told you about mentioning the things that you want or you don't want. The point, and I want to make a little conclusion here, or mini conclusion here. When a person talks about anger all the time, and let's say she says, I don't want to be angry, I don't want to feel frustrated, and I don't want to get angry at my husband, I don't want to get angry at my kids, I don't want to get angry at work because I have seen the consequences, I've suffered the consequences of that, and I just don't want to be angry anymore, I don't want to be stressed out anymore. All right, so the commands are stress and frustration and anger. As a consequence, your subconscious, this person's subconscious mind is going to switch in order to focus on these three words, specifically and especially anger, right? So if the subconscious mind is focusing on that, it brings to attention whatever signal that resembles or is close to anger. Therefore, this person is going to see anger everywhere, because the perception is going to be shifted, right? And the subconscious mind changes your perception so that you see everything from anger point of view. Because of that, this person is going to find people angrier. So this is distortion. This is the problem. This is when your subconscious mind is being trained to not just focus on certain things, but also to twist, to change, to distort in order for you to understand it from your point of view, or whatever you commanded your subconscious to focus on. Okay, so I'm going to simplify what I said. So for this person who mentions lots of things that she doesn't want about being angry, being frustrated, being stressed out, okay, the subconscious mind focuses the attention of this person over anger, right? And what is the capacity of the conscious mind? 134 per second on average, okay? So if this person is using maximum capacity of its conscious in order to find those negativities, specifically that anger, what happens to all the positive things that are happening around her? All of them are deleted, because the conscious mind cannot process more than that. Why do I talk about the conscious mind? We were talking about the subconscious. Yes, but the subconscious brings those topics to your attention. And the phrase to your attention means to your conscious mind. So the person who says, I don't want to be angry, I don't want to feel frustrated, I don't want to be stressed out, is giving command to her subconscious mind to give her more anger, more frustration, and more stress. And this person's focus, that 134 bits per second, is going to be focused on those three negative topics. And all those positivities are being deleted. And then if this person is in this bad mood, you tell this person, oh, your life is good, you have lots of things to be happy about. He says, there is nothing in my life to be happy about. Why? Because deletion is happening. Because the unconscious mind changes your focus. Your unconscious mind is like your neck, all right? And it moves your head to other directions without you noticing, all right? That is why it is very important to tell the subconscious mind what you want specifically. If you don't want to be angry, don't talk about anger. Don't talk about stress. Talk about being relaxed. Talk about being in control. Talk about peace of mind. Talk about calmness, all right? Talk about good things like confidence. This is not a joke. This is serious. And this is the foundation and fundamental of whatever anybody is going to teach you. You've heard of this from thousands and thousands of speakers in YouTube, on TED Talk, and different books you have seen and you've read probably this kind of things. And this is the reason your unconscious mind cannot process negativity. And please, please, please give good commands, constructive commands to your subconscious mind, and it will act upon them accordingly. That's important. So deletion is one of the mistakes that we make all the time. And that's one of the basically one of the things that happen at the subconscious level because of our mental filters. So we delete certain things and we receive selective information. Number two, we distort. In other words, we change, we twist whatever happens. And finally, we generalize. And generalize means there is something happened to you, and you make a conclusion for the future. And sometimes that conclusion happens at the unconscious level, and the unconscious level wants to help you, wants to protect you, and it is programmed to do it for you. So it generalizes, but it is up to you to prove or disprove it. Okay? I'm going to give you an example so that you understand it. Let's say a 6-year-old girl is super excited and super happy. Okay? She is super happy and she's running around with her friends and they're jumping and they're so happy and so excited. And on the other corner, her dad is having a very important conversation with someone. And this dad is not in a good mood right now. But the girl is so happy and she's holding ice cream. She runs toward dad and says, Dad, and she shares something good with her father. And what happens is the father is not in a good mood and this girl is so noisy and he looks at him in an angry way, or let's say he just slaps her in the face, okay? That is not something that really happens, but let's imagine that it happens in that extreme case. What happens is this girl starts crying. But at the unconscious level, it is possible that she makes some new generalizations today, right now. She might say, I should not be so happy and I should not express my happiness to my parents. That can be one conclusion. Many of us have this kind of generalization. Based on our experiences, we generalize men, we generalize about women, we generalize about people of certain groups, and we think that is our reality. And whether we think it is true or not, that becomes our reality in the inner world. And that sometimes, my friends, can be very, very dangerous. We have to be careful of our generalizations. Sometimes generalizations are about us, not about other people. For example, if I say I am lazy, I am generalizing. I am making a general rule about myself in the past, present, and more importantly about the future. So in future, I always keep in mind that I am lazy. And that explains every misbehavior that I do or any inaction. And I can procrastinate easily and I'm happy at the unconscious level because I believe that I am lazy. That's generalization. Sometimes we generalize about other people, sometimes about ourselves. When I talk about assumptions and beliefs, you will understand this generalization more specifically in more detail. So there are 3 big mistakes that the unconscious mind makes. Number one is deletion. We delete lots of things around us. Number two, distortion. We distort the reality. We distort whatever happens in our own ways. We make wrong interpretations. Well, distortion here means interpretation, right? We interpret things differently. Okay? And finally, it's generalization, and we generalize about ourselves, about other people. Okay? So what is the significance of all this? Why should I tell you about DDG, deletion, distortion, generalization? Because however you delete, distort, and generalize is going to form a mental picture in your head. We call this internal representation. Why? Because the external event that I just talked about, okay, is going to be represented internally in our head, okay? In other words, we make certain conclusions. But we are making conclusions out of something that we deleted most of, we distorted, and we generalized. How close do you think this internal representation is to reality on the outside? It is not close. It is just our version of reality. It is just what we perceive. It is just what we understand. It is just what we interpret from the outside and what we find out. There are certain things that are around us, but we cannot see. We don't see because we delete all the time. All right? And now that's internal representation. Why is that important? That internal representation will definitely give you a state or feeling. It gives you specific mental state or mental feeling. It gives you some kind of feeling, all right? And that will affect your physiology. And the key point here in this slide is this. There are interactions among these three elements. The way you interpret things will affect your state, and your state will affect your physiology, your physics, your body, okay? And also, if you change your state, your internal representation and physiology changes. And if you change your physiology, your state changes, and ultimately your internal representation. So if you make any positive or negative change to any of these three elements, you are going to enjoy or suffer from the impacts of the other two as well, right? So if you want to be happy, for example, one way is to change your focus to the things that you want and you like and you appreciate in your life. When you do that, you're going to delete all the negativities, and your 134 bits per second capacity is going to be focused on the positive, right? And your interpretations are going to be different. And in other words, you are going to become a positive person, and your generalizations are going to be constructive generalizations, not destructive ones, all right? And therefore, you're going to have positive internal representations. That is awesome, that is great, that is wonderful. And they give you specific states, all right? They change that. And your mood, when your mood changes, when your feeling and emotions are changing, then your physiology changes. If you're confident, when you feel confident on the inside, your body shows everything. When you're sad on the inside, your body shows everything as well. And if I show you 10 pictures, full body, people in full body, and I tell you, okay, in which one of these pictures do you think the person is sad? Most probably you can find it because the person is down, is looking down, and you look at the facial expressions, you look at the eyes, you look at the lips, you look at hands, shoulders, chest, and you definitely can say, oh, I think this person, I'm confident that this person is feeling that way. If I tell you, okay, which one of these people is feeling more powerful, you look at the way they stand. If the chest is up, if you can see that power in their look, in their eyes, in the way they stand or they sit or whatever. So how do you know? It's the physiology affecting the emotion and the emotion affecting the physiology. And both of these will have impact on internal representation. So if you want to get started, you have to start from somewhere. You either change your interpretations so that your internal representation is positive, or change your physiology, change your physics. Well, I think in the previous class I was sharing with participants. I had a client who was here, and he was telling me that, oh, you know what, I'm always sad and I can't feel happy, and so on and so forth. And I said, okay, I want you to do something. I want you to stand up. He stood up, and I said, okay, jump. I want you to jump for 2 minutes. He said, what? I said, I just want you to jump for 2 minutes. That's what Tony Robbins does. And then he said, why? I said, just do it. And as he was doing, I just said, I want you to clap. And he was like clapping and jumping up and down. And then he sat down. And I said, okay, now I want you to smile. And I want you to fake it for 10 minutes. He said, 10 minutes? I said, yes, 10 minutes. Just do it. And he started it. And at some point, he was just about to laugh, but he was like controlling. But after 2 or 3 minutes, he couldn't control himself and he started laughing. And I said, here we go. We know these things, but we just ignore them. We know that they exist. We know that these are the solutions, but just we say, you know what, it's not going to work. Well, you know it's going to work. And when you do it, it works. So just do it. Well, dancing is super powerful. I can tell you, it's super powerful. Many people dance because they are happy, but I can tell you, you can go the other way. When you are down, start dancing and your mood is being boosted up. It's changing. The moment you start that, your body and your mind form one system. They are interconnected, all right? And whatever you feel on the inside, you will reflect it on the outside. This is one of the NLP presuppositions that we learn in class and we work on. So it says your mind and body form one system. They are interconnected. What happens in the inside will be reflected on the outside. You cannot hide your emotions. Many people say, you know what, I am angry, but I'm going to hide my anger. You cannot hide your anger. If you are angry on the inside, you can't play it 100%. Maybe you can play 50%, maybe 70%, but those people who are smart, who know body language, who look at you, and the first glance, they understand how you feel. How do they know? Well, they know. And why is it happening like that? Because your unconscious mind runs your body. What you feel on the inside, you will show it in your physiology. And that's the power of your mind. And that is something you can change. You can change your internal representation to change your physiology. You can change your internal representation to change your state. Or you can make some changes to your physiology in order to change your internal representation and states. And I tell you, your behavior comes from your state. Your behavior comes from what you see here, from your state. And then you will behave in a certain way. Well, you react to that person who talked to you. You run away when you see a snake, or maybe you do something else if you're trained. And we watch a sad movie and we cry. Because we delete, we distort, we generalize, we have internal representation that gives us feeling and changes our physiology, and that state gives us certain behavior. Your mental state and emotions are the most important resource that you could ever have. That's very important and critical. In this picture, you can see the same thing, it's another interpretation. There is an external experience and that you receive through your 5 senses, and you delete, you distort, or you generalize, and then it goes to your internal representation, your physiology, and changes your state. And when your state changes, or whatever state you are in, will lead to certain type of behavior. And that's what we see. Now, here's the interesting part. What you see in this box, right here in the middle, attitudes, values, and beliefs, meta programs, decisions, memories, language, time, space, matter, and energy, are your filters. These are the ones that make you delete distort, or generalize. And in today's session, I'm going to explore these concepts. Besides meta programs, I'm going to explore almost all of them. And I will share with you the power of attitudes, values, beliefs, decisions, and memories, and languages. And of course, time, space, and matter also are important. So by the end of today's session, you will have a much clearer idea about these filters that affect your perception, the way you delete, the way you distort, and the way you generalize. So let me show you this one, mind versus heart, this slide, and then I think there are one or two questions that I want to address before we go for the first break, In this picture, there are two elements. One resembles our mind and the other one, our heart. Well, these are connected. And what we say is our heart basically is the outcome of our subconscious mechanism, the outcome of our subconscious operation. And that's how we feel. The point is, many of us want to be successful. Many of us want to be happy. Many of us want to be wealthy. Many of us want to do something great in our lives. But unfortunately, we feel like there is a problem. Something on the inside is not happy with that. Something on the inside doesn't come with us. There are certain people who procrastinate a lot. They don't want to procrastinate. They don't want to keep postponing everything. That's what they want to do consciously. That is close to the left side of this picture. But on the other hand, there is something on the inside that seems to be resisting. Okay, and that's the feeling. Okay, I give you an example. The person has approaching deadline and says, you know what, I'm going to start doing what I'm doing, and I'm going to do it today, and I'm going to start today. Okay. And for some reasons, he says, okay, you know what, I just need some coffee and then I will get started. Okay, he goes, prepares some coffee, comes back and said, you know what, let me check my Facebook and Instagram and then I will do it. Okay, checking Instagram and Facebook, 1 more hour gone. All right, let's get started. Hey, you know what, I'm not in that mood. So probably if I eat some fruit, it will be good. Or maybe I just watch 1 or 2 YouTube videos and then I will be ready. Okay, then he will watch and it's almost noon. And he says, okay, I'm going to get started, but I think I'm hungry. I have to think of the food because if I'm hungry, I can't concentrate on that. Okay, perfect. So here comes lunch and now it's 2 o'clock or 3 o'clock. And then he says, oh, you know what? I'm kind of sleepy. Maybe I ate too much. I don't know, but I have to take a nap. And after that, I will be full of energy and I know I'm going to do it. All right. And then he goes to sleep, to take a nap, but probably sometimes this half an hour nap becomes 2 hours and it's 5 o'clock. And then he looks at his phone, a message from a friend, and he says, you know what, I'm going to go out and I come back around 7 and then I will be damn serious. I'm going to do it. And it doesn't get started for some reason. The mind tells you, or in simple words, you're telling yourself consciously to do it, but there is a problem. On the other hand, the unconscious mind is not ready for you to take action. And for as long as you don't make any changes to the unconscious level, you can't cope up with its power because your unconscious mind is much more powerful than the conscious mind. I'm not saying we are powerless. No, I'm just saying the opposite. But we have to understand the language of the unconscious so that we can persuade it to come with us, to be in the same page with us. Otherwise, you're dragging to the left side and that one is pulling to the right side. And I tell you this is simple rule, but very true. Whenever there is a conflict between your conscious mind and your subconscious mind, whenever your subconscious mind wins. Your subconscious mind is much more powerful than the conscious mind if you use The rules of the consciousness, you are not going to make any changes. But the moment you start communicating and using the rules of the subconscious mind, you can align your unconscious with your conscious mind. And that is the time that you will enjoy the benefits. You will reap the benefits of success and happiness and whatever you want. All right. So I want to answer questions, but in order to answer questions, let me show you this slide, and then I'll go back to your questions. So by now you understand that your conscious mind is about your five senses, and it's super powerful. It is amazing. And you know what happens also at the subconscious level. But I want to tell you this. The language of the consciousness is different from that of the unconsciousness. Your conscious mind speaks with the language of logic and analysis. Okay? Whenever you use analysis, when you analyze, when you use logic in order to understand a situation, you are using your conscious power. And that is great. No other animal on this planet can ever cope up with our capacity and capability. And that is great. We have this beautiful, amazing strength, logic and analysis. But your unconscious mind does not understand logic and analysis. If someone is smoking all the time and you ask this person, and this person comes to you for help and says, can you help me? I want to quit smoking. What you say is what? Don't smoke. Smoking is not good for your health. This is super obvious to this person. This person knows this, but why is it that it cannot change? Because of these. Because the attitude is still positive about smoking at a deep level. Because assumptions are, I'm not able to quit. Because habits are already in the body, are wired in the body. Because there are positive emotions that come as form of rewards after smoke. Because there are pleasant memories in the unconscious level about smoking and about the pleasure of smoking. All right? And even there are values, because this person associates smoking with positive things and positive values like peace of mind, happiness, independency, being masculine, being powerful, being independent, having authority. And I tell you, majority of people who smoke are familiar with these terminologies, if not with all, with some of them at least. And also the belief is, I cannot quit. I know it's bad, but I can't. I can't is a belief. Now, your unconscious mind seems to be complicated, but it's not actually. Your unconscious mind stores all these, and all of them are in favor of smoking. And on the other hand, there is something that is like logic and analysis and says, hey, don't do it. Don't do it. It doesn't make sense to smoke. Yes, it doesn't make sense. But at the unconscious level, logic and making sense doesn't mean anything, because the language of the unconscious mind is only pictures and emotions. Only emotions, emotions, emotions. If this person doesn't hate on the inside, doesn't hate the feeling of smoking, nothing is gonna change, ever, ever, ever. Pictures and emotions are critical. So what I'm saying in this slide is very simple, at the same time, very crucial. Your unconscious mind operates with the language of pictures and emotions. It requires emotions in order to change something beneath the surface level, while the conscious mind uses the language of logic and analysis. Now, if you try to, or if you put all your effort to persuade your subconscious mind with logic and analysis, your unconscious mind is not gonna move, is not gonna change, because your unconscious mind does not understand logic. That's not what your unconscious mind can do. But what your unconscious mind can do is to feel. The moment you bring a picture, you watch a movie, you imagine something, you have certain feelings. And that is the key to your unconscious mind. If you want to make any changes to your unconscious mind, you have to change the picture. You have to change your emotions. And today I will talk about all these attitudes, assumptions, habits, emotions, memories, values, and beliefs in detail. All right. So let me stop sharing the screen and see if there is a question. I know someone raised hand. Okay, Nassim. Nassim, you had a question. You want to ask now?
Yeah, good morning.
Good
And thanks
morning.
for the fantastic webinar that you're running. It's amazing.
Thank you.
My question is about dance, and I have two questions on that. Where does dance get us this power, and how does it affect our subconscious?
Dancing?
Yeah, because you mentioned that. Yeah, you mentioned that, and I do believe in the dance power, but I do not know where on the layers you mentioned or how. I mainly thought that it was physiological, like it was creating serotonin or anything else. But now that you're connecting it to subconscious, that's my question.
Okay. However, and whatever you feel comes from the subconscious mind, from the unconscious mind. All right. And there are other things as well that you can do, even clapping. All right. Even singing. There are studies that prove that singing can change your mood instantly. And many people tend to sing when they are in a good mood. If you're not in a good mood, you're not going to sing. If someone tells you, oh, can you sing for me? You say, no, I'm not in a good mood. You need that mood. That means you feel like I have to be in certain mood so that my singing is compatible with that, so that I can do it. But you can do the other way around. If you're not happy, start singing. But make sure you don't sing sad songs, right? Okay, so you start doing that, or you listen to music, or you just sing it by yourself, or you start dancing. And these activities, these physical activities, can change your chemical level. All right, the neurotransmitters are going to be changed. Serotonin will be in your body, and that's how fresh you feel, how happy you feel, how stressed, how relaxed you feel after that. So you have to do it. So the effect is, when you change your physiology, you are actually changing something in your system, and your unconscious mind gives you relative feeling, because your unconscious mind is designed to control your body. So however you feel, your unconscious mind controls your body accordingly. And the opposite is also true. When you change your body, okay, your unconscious mind receives the signals and changes your mood according to that. So that's how it just affects you or impacts you. And Shagayr is saying, I'm so ashamed when I want to dance in a group of people, or and but when you're alone, you dance a lot. Okay, that is good. At least when you are basically dancing by yourself, that is perfect. But there are lots of answers to that. But I can answer your point as I go to the afternoon session, as I talk about the power of beliefs, because there are certain limiting decisions and limiting beliefs. I will tell you more about it in the afternoon session, that make us feel ashamed. All right. For instance, if you think, what if I make a mistake? What if I am not attractive enough? What if my moves are not good enough as I'm dancing? Then you're not going to feel positive for sure. Lots of negative emotions, lots of negative thoughts will come to your mind, and those negative thoughts will lead to negative emotions, right? So that's what happens. But it is good that you dance. Keep dancing. When you do it, you feel better. It is in the process. Your mind, your unconscious mind, don't worry about it, because your unconscious mind controls it for you. Your unconscious mind will do it for you. So you either dance to change your mood, or when you're in a good mood, you dance. All right. Dancing is not the only solution. As I told you, there was a recent study that says singing can enhance your serotonin level, and definitely you feel much better. And oxytocin as well. that is a hormone that is very good to reduce stress. So we can actually reduce our stress level by singing and by dancing and by physical activities. So let's do it. There was in one of his old books, Tony Robbins mentioned this, and that's what I told you. I just shared with you. He said, I always tell my clients to smile and practice smiling for 15 minutes a day, every day in front of a mirror. Okay? So they have to practice smiling in front of a mirror. Okay? They just look at the mirror, they look at themselves, and that changes their mood. We always say, oh my God, I'm so frustrated, I'm tired, I'm exhausted, I'm sad. Okay, if you're sad, stop saying that unless you want to be sad. Because if you say, I am sad, you are going to recreate it. You are actually, you feel sad, that comes from your unconscious mind, but you admit, you confirm that I am sad. Then what do you expect? It's like you're reconfirming everything and you're giving this command to your subconscious mind that, hey, subconscious, I want you to make me feel worse. And your subconscious mind is with you and for you and works for you and says, aye, Captain, I'm going to do it for you. Whether positive or negative, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. So our words play super, super important role. I really suggest that you watch a couple of videos on YouTube about the work of Dr. Masaru Emoto. He's an amazing individual. And what he did was he is a scientist or pseudoscientist, but basically what he did in his study was amazing. What he did was he took some different samples of water and he froze them, and he looked at the molecular structure of frozen water in order to understand how, the shape and everything. And then he exposed water to difference in different environments, sometimes exposed to words, written words, sometimes exposed to verbal words, also to some types of music, to understand how vibrational energy basically affects the molecular structure of of water, basically. And it was very interesting in the result. I want you to have a look at it on YouTube and find out how beautiful water could become when it's exposed to soothing music, when it's exposed to prayers, when it's exposed to positive words such as love and appreciation and happiness. And I want you to have a look at those pictures when water is exposed to certain types of music and words such as anger and hatred or blame. Just watch and see the results. And another interesting thing is just a couple of days ago, my friend's friend did an experiment and shared it on Instagram that I took a screenshot, and I asked my friend, I said, can I take a screenshot? He said, yes. And he cut orange in half and he put them in two different containers. On one container, she wrote lots of positive words such as love, appreciation, friendship, you are wonderful, you are great, you're a blessing, and I'm happy and I'm excited, and there is hope, and there is truth, and lots of grace, and lots of good things, and peace. And on the other one, on the other container, identical fruit, identical orange. On the other half, on the other container, he wrote, I will kill you, I hate you, this is sick, you make me sick, I'm tired of you, and words like that. And he took pictures after 6 days and he took pictures after 20 days. And the results were amazing, significant differences in them. If water structure, molecular structure changes, what happens to us as human beings? Majority of our body is made of water. Majority of the earth is made of water. Majority of materials are made of water. So our words can change. We have to be careful about the words that we choose. Forget about the things that you don't want. If you don't want them, stop saying that you don't want them. Say what you want instead. And I can tell you, if you just get this piece of information here and you start applying, your life changes, your mood changes. And I guarantee that, but you have to be consistent. You have to do it. That's the point. All right, so it's 11 o'clock. I want to give you a 15-minute break. And after that, I will answer your question, and then we'll go for a short break. And we will come back at 11:15, and we'll continue with the rest of it.